once I was able to identify that I had a learning issue, it was a big relief, because for years I had struggled specifically with math. That was a lot of, I thought it was just anxiety, which is typical, I think, of any student walking into a math course, especially in college, but it was something I had dealt with for years, ever since childhood. And once I was, tested in and granted services, it was a weight lifted off of my shoulders, and I could better identify, what I needed to do to be more successful in my classes.
Most people that I encountered, I would say, wanted me to just sit at home and just accept the fact of being blind and never do anything else. But I've always had a desire to attend college, even before I went blind. But I had to figure out how to do it differently because I went blind. My first semester, September 2010, wasn't the greatest, but I made it. I registered for 3 classes. I only passed 1 out of the 3. But I did come back, and I have done better. Getting with DPS has helped that transition a little better. It's not as hard for me.
Without DSPS, I would struggle just to keep my head above water. I might not be able to do anything. I don't want to always have to depend on my mother. Imagine how embarrassing it would be if she had to follow me around all day on campus. With DSPS, I am able to be self-sufficient and through the program acquire the tools that I need.
To use the left-handed scissor analogy, I would say that a deaf person is as disabled as a left-handed person would be in a world without left-handed scissors. So essentially, I would be providing the left-handed scissors. Now, as far as what kind of cut would be made is not up to me. It's unique to the individual. But just providing the scissors alone levels the playing field.
Think of someone like Stephen Hawking as a good example of this. Anybody that saw Stephen Hawking on the street and didn't know who he was would think, wow, he just has no means to communicate. But when you can figure out how to get out what's inside of that student's brain, there's some amazing things that can happen.
Let's say if there's a student and me sitting side by side in the front row in a classroom, and the teacher he's gonna automatically assume that I'm a normal student and that I'm comprehending what he's saying perfectly, like the student next to me. But until I hand him the DSPS letter of my disability, half of them, even with that letter, they still do not comprehend themselves my disability. So therefore, when I come to the DSPS lab with this staff, they're my friends. They actually know my disabilities, they understand them, they're specialized into helping me to succeed, and they generally care about me and all the rest of the students that are with the Disabled Student Program.
Another misconception is that, say for learning disabilities, that somehow someone's going to outgrow that. You don't outgrow a processing deficit. That's just the way a person's brain works. You don't outgrow ADHD. That can be helped, that can be managed, and there are some skills that a student can build to help them with that, but that's not something that goes away. Another misconception is that we give students with disabilities an unfair advantage, and nothing could be further from the truth. What we do is we provide access, and what that means is we make sure that students have access to the programs or the services that they need to be successful.
Software for students with visual impairments, for students who have learning disabilities. All of that software, the main function of it is to break down the barriers that exist and provide them with a tool that essentially makes them non-disabled, almost. And the software is available in all of our labs now. We don't just have it available in the DSPS lab, it's available in the Reading and Writing Center, it's available at the Norco College, Moreno Valley College. Anywhere where there's a computer lab, our software is now available. So students can come and get trained with us, and then they go out and they're sitting with all of their non-disabled counterparts doing the work that everybody else is doing with equal access, and that's what's really exciting.
As a youth, my life wasn't in the best position. I had a lot of issues. I had an authority problem, and I went against the grain. I always wanted to attend college, but my addiction took over. My addiction consumed all of my life. Yeah, I was put in jail numerous times. At the age of 25, I attempted to commit suicide. I loaded up a 6-shot revolver, placed the revolver to my right temple, pulled the trigger the third time. I pulled the trigger, the gun fired and severed my optic nerves. After that, I continued to live in this self-destructive lifestyle of drugs and alcohol, and I lasted in this lifestyle for 15 years. And the thought of college was always there, but because of this self-destructive lifestyle consuming every part of my life, I wasn't able to. It was sitting in prison at the age of 40, blind, that made me realize that my life had to change, that there's something better. I became tired of this lifestyle. I saw what the lifestyle was doing to my family, and I wanted to become educated. That's where my life changed. I went from being addicted to drugs and alcohol to becoming a schoolboy. And the accommodations here at Riverside Community College, the Disabled Students Program Services, really assisted me in getting my life straight, getting my life going, becoming successful in my education. And not only that, it helped me to become successful in my life, my family life, with my children, to be a better example. And I see that because of this program, I would have never made it. I would have never succeeded in my education. To be able to transfer to a university. The tools that I received here helped me throughout my education and are still helping me now in my daily life.
Regardless of my disabilities, I have never let them overcome me. I've always tried my best to overcome my disabilities. And with the DSPS program here on campus, I have succeeded thus far, and I will continue to succeed